Welcome back to my channel. Let me tell you the story of two young men and how communication played a very vital role in what will become of this story. Kindly stick with me to the end as we digest all that I'm coming to tell you now. So let's go. Kelvin and David are young entrepreneurs in the procurement and supply industry. These two gentlemen had been friends since childhood or since high school. They have been there for each other through the changing seasons of life. They cheer each other on, encourage each other. And they are people you could say, or they are the kind of friends you could say are best friends. One Friday evening, while hanging out at a pub over a few drinks after Chelsea and Manchester United football match, the two got talking. Kelvin told David about a project his father's friend had introduced him to, uh, and he was about to submit a quotation for. He told him what they needed, the country he intended purchasing the things from, and how much he intended supplying it to them. The two gentlemen were happy, they laughed. As usual, Kelvin was so happy, and David was so happy for him. The two men shared ideas, they laughed, chit chat, and finally parted way to their various homes. Need I tell you, that was a big mistake on Kelvin's part. He opened up too soon. 2 weeks later, guess who got the job? David. David, without telling Kelvin, submitted a proposal that was lower than what Kelvin was offering at the same quality. Betrayal, right? Yes. And that was Kelvin's fault. Kelvin opened up too quickly. Kelvin didn't reserve anything to himself. Kelvin divulged all his secrets to his friend quickly. Now, my question to you is, who are you talking to? Where are you talking at? Who has the ears of your destiny helpers? Are you a Vashti or you are an Esther? Vashti sent words through the eunuchs that the husband sent to her, and by doing that, she lost her throne. In my personal opinion, Vashti did nothing wrong by refusing to go and display her beauty. She had valid reasons, okay, but her method was wrong. Stay with me, I'll explain. Her method, her method made her husband feel disrespected and disregarded in the presence of his guests and the eunuchs. And I think the husband and I think the husband finally took the decision he took because his ego was bruised and he felt disrespected as a king. Look, communication really matters, okay? Tell me, what do you think would have happened if Vashti found a very poetic way and told the Enos, example, example, tell His Majesty, the King of my heart, my husband in whom I am well pleased, the love of my life, the one who rules with wisdom, that thy servant hears and is working to meet his expectations. They would have felt happy, bold, in expectant, right? To go and tell the king, okay, your wife sent this word and she is preparing. And after that, she sends one of her trusted servants to the king with a message, either in a letter or something, maybe in the form of poem, and says, "O great king, the one who rules with wisdom, the husband of my youth, let it not be said that you, O great king, do not care for your people and summon your queen whilst he was attending to the women. Let it not be said, let it not be heard in any part of the land that the king has no respect for mothers." You know what I'm talking about? Just found a very poetic way of telling the husband, "Oh, see it this way." Make him see the reason why you coming there at that particular time is not favorable. I am sure with that, the king wouldn't have felt disrespected, his ego wouldn't have been bruised, and he would have found a way to even tell the people, "Oh, the queen cannot make it." I'm sure if it was said in that way, the king would have pondered over his request and will not take the action he had taken. What I am trying to say is that everything boils down to communication. Okay? The, I'm sure you can agree with me that there are times you will tell someone, let's say your husband or your wife, something, and if it's only the two of you, that person will not get angry. You might even laugh over it. But that same thing, when you tell your spouse about it at where others are, he's not going to be happy with it. He or she is not going to be happy with it, and it might lead to fight. It's not everywhere that you say certain things. Vashti could have just found a way of handling the situation. Then when they go home and it is just the two of them, he tells the king, "Oh, my lovely husband, what you did, this is how I felt. I felt disrespected. I felt like at that moment you were objectifying me." And I'm sure with her tone and the way she'll present it, the king might even end up apologizing. Now, on the other hand, let's look at Esther. Esther wasn't someone, or Esther, it wasn't Esther's time to even meet the king. But what did this woman do? She approached the husband by prayer and humility. Look, if you read the book of Esther, when she got to the inner court, the woman didn't enter just like that. She stood in front of the king's hall, and when the husband saw her, he how did they call it? He extended the golden scepter, and she approached. She didn't just go and say and went sending words to the husband through an Enoch, or she didn't just go and just bypass the guards and everybody and go to the husband. She knew that that wasn't her time to be there. So she approached with a lot of wisdom. In life, you must know when to talk, how to talk, where to talk, who to talk to. With this, let's go back to Kelvin and David. Kelvin didn't take time to know her friend. And you know what? As much as you trust people, it is not everything you tell people. God is the only one that you can go to in prayer and say whatever is on your heart. Give people the benefit of the doubt that they are human beings and they can fall short of certain things. Yes, that was his friend. And we are not talking about the betrayer. We are talking about how he handled his issue, how he sold himself or gave himself away to his competitor. Even if someone is your friend, there is a way you go about communicating with a person. Kelvin could have told David that he's working on something without necessarily telling him the company or where he is getting it from. And it would have still been a very good conversation. It could have still be putting your friend in the known. Okay, you don't go tempting people because we are all flesh and blood. Well, I hope you've learned something from today's topic. My name is Elom. I hope to see you again in the next one. Kindly like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you again in the next one. Bye bye.